All right, who's ready to grow their email list? This is one of the most exciting parts of having email marketing as a part of your local business because you get to start attracting new people into your audience that maybe aren't ready to buy from you, but definitely intrigued enough to get on your email list and learn more about you. So, why would you promote your email list that you've spent all this time building and getting set up? It's a way to really bring in people who maybe aren't quite ready to invest in you. They're on the fence. They see an opt-in, like a lead magnet we'll talk about that makes them really excited to get to know you. And another reason is, like we've said before, you don't own your followers, you don't own the page likes you have, but those email addresses you collect are something you own. So it's a way to invest in humans with something that you get to keep forever. It also allows you to broaden your reach beyond customers. A lot of times people use email marketing to connect with people who have already bought from them. But the reality is, even thinking about our list at Love Local, many people on our list have never bought a product from us before, but they're involved in a lot of our free programs and they're coming to trainings, just like this workshop, and they're getting involved in our brand and sharing it with people they know, tagging us in posts. And so there's a long-term benefit of this, even if people aren't exactly your customers yet, right? Just as a reminder, as you're building your email list, as you're growing, reaching new audiences, stay committed to adding those new customers as well. This is something that people expect to see for the most part as a new customer, to stay in touch, to learn what's new with your brand, to hear about new service offerings or new products. So people are ready to hear from you, especially if they said yes to you in exchange with dollars. So be sure you're adding those new customers consistently. Don't lose sight of that. But as you continue growing your own list outside of existing customers, one thing you can do, say if you're a brick and mortar or someone exchanges dollars or that transaction happens face to face, you can create a sign up form at the register or somewhere near checkout where you can prompt someone who is checking out to sign up for your email list. It's a really simple thing. Even as like a notebook, a piece of paper, you don't have to make this super fancy. These tend to do really well for kind of these small brick and mortar retail types of shops, mostly because people are ready to hear about the events, the promotions, and all of the other things that these brick and mortars have available. So don't hesitate to put a form out if you're a brick and mortar and ask people if they want to be part of your list right as they check out. Something a little bit more advanced you can do is check out the integration section of MailChimp and see if the payment processor you use is linked inside of MailChimp. So the idea here, if you are someone who uses Square, for example, to process payments, perhaps you might be able to link that payment processor to MailChimp. So when someone buys, they can get entered into an automation, they can get tagged a certain way. Of course, this is a little bit more sophisticated, but ultimately the idea is to move those people who bought from you into your email list. And there are a lot of little tools available inside of MailChimp that are a lot of times free or at that initial tier of payment for you to use. So let us know if you find that and it's helpful for you, especially if you tend to have a lot of customers, a lot of different transactions. It's easy to miss the customers that could be added to your email list. So making this automated is definitely a way to do that faster and without you even thinking about it. Something we worked on with one of our clients, Des Moines Mercantile, was getting an opt-in form on her website that was specifically a separate page. So think about it as like yourwebsite.com/opt-in or subscribe. So if we are pushing content from social media to this page, we might have something on Instagram like, hey, we have 5 different events coming up this fall, and we always let our email subscribers be the first to know about these events. If you're itching to make wreaths or DIY, get on the email list. The link is in our bio. Here's the link. You can copy paste this specific link to a Facebook post or a lot of different places, wherever you show up the most. So this is a one-off page where someone can opt into the website. And just so you can see some of the language, we wrote, sign up to be the first to know about new products we're stocking, events in our store, and promotions you don't want to miss. And so it's a little bit juicier than sign up for our newsletter, right? There's some context behind what you'll see and what you'll experience as an email list subscriber. And to kind of build on that, you can always put a little box at the bottom of your website, your footer, just to make it easy for people to find if they're scrolling down to look up hours and a lot of other pieces of your brand. So someone might miss that subscribe page, but they might see this at the bottom. And I know when Mallory was getting this set up as a brand new business owner, she was seeing 100 plus people use this in the first couple months of her business. And so people do use this. So as long as you're sending the emails, you can reap the benefits of people just popping over and signing up for your list. One thing you can do to sweeten your opt-in is exchange something for an email address. So you can see here one of our opt-ins, and maybe you have it, maybe you've gone through it, is 7 ways to become the most loved business in your community. And it's a workbook, it's part strategy, and it allows people to understand our ideology, why we're different, and just packed full of value. So in order to receive that, they would give us their email address. And so you can do that in an opt-in form as well. You can do things that are a little bit simpler, like offer a first-time buyer coupon, like 10 to 20% off, or you could create a really simple worksheet that's related to your industry. So maybe it's the top 5 trends happening. Maybe it's, oh my gosh, it depends on your industry, right? The top 10 things, 5 mistakes you're making, a worksheet to help you keep track of your food intake. There are so many ways to do this. If you have a resource and a knowledge and expertise, as I'm sure you do, think about a really simple PDF or download that you can provide for someone in exchange for their email address. And of course, you can do something a little bit more complicated, like a training video, workshops, master classes. We obviously do all of these things at Love Local. We love using digital tools to impact our audience and grow our community. This is the one you're in right now, of course. This is an opt-in, right? You're in the mini course, Launch Your List, of course, as you know. And this is our way to impact more people, build our list so we can give you a ton of value and get to know you and support you on your journey of owning a local business. Just as a reminder, at the bottom here, we wrote, don't just call it a newsletter. Be really clear about what you're exchanging for the email address for your local business. And maybe you say, send weekly updates, weekly inspiration. We'll only send you a once a month thing. Prime your audience to know what they're getting themselves into as they come into your email community. We'll talk a little bit more about these lead magnets as well. Just as I shared about the 7 ways download, lead magnets are such a great tool if you are looking to capture an audience of people who maybe aren't quite ready to buy, just like we talked about, but really curious about your expertise, why you're different, the specific way you go about business, your ideology, things like that. So when you have this lead magnet, kind of like we talked about in the last slide, you want to be sure to promote that in a lot of different places. So we don't do a ton of education about blogging for local businesses because we don't see local business owners really creating the time, energy, and space to blog effectively. And that's not a criticism at all. There are just far more advantageous ways to spend your time, money, and resources. But if you do blog, if you do have content that you're putting out regularly, be sure to add those opt-in forms to the posts. So this is just one of our simple opt-ins. It's our Love Local library, and it's full of tons of different resources like trainings, tutorials, and guides. Hopefully you're in there by now. If you're in this mini course, if you're not, be sure to check it out or just message me so I can be sure you have the link to that. But that is embedded into a blog post. And so that's a way to also share your opt-in forms with people who may be perusing that type of content. But you can also create sliders, slide in things, pop-up boxes. I totally understand they might be annoying to you for some other brands, but people do use them. We know this because they're used on our site. The data shows us they're used. Obviously, companies are still selling these things. And so people are using them. And so, just as a reminder, these tools are available to you. And I believe MailChimp has some resources for you if you're looking to get started in adding things like this to your own website. My only thought would be, and feel free to chime into the Facebook group, to really think through the value you're going to exchange for collecting that email address. So that is what it looks like on the website. And then, of course, one of my favorite ways to grow email marketing lists is using social media and really calling out specific actions we desire people to take. So let's say I put a blog post together, and at the bottom of my blog post is an opt-in for a masterclass I'm teaching. I tend to talk about it in a social media post or my stories, and then say, head to my bio to learn more about the blog, more about the masterclass. And I use something called LinkTree. I've talked about this a lot within Love Local, but if you're new to it, it's a totally free tool that you can use to put a lot of different links here. So this is just an example of ours. A couple blog posts, the shirt collection we have, another blog post, and if you scroll down, there's lots more if you're actually in the app on our Love Local site. But this will allow you to put a lot of different links in your bio. So don't add the link to the bottom of your Instagram post because it won't work. It's not clickable, but be sure to add it to the bio. And Linktree allows you to have lots of links instead of just that one that exists in your bio. So you can share it there when you have the call to action in your story. We're offering an exclusive promo to everyone on our email list. Be sure you subscribe. And then they subscribe, and then you email them the promo. You can use language like join our email list as a powerful call to action in your social content as well. So this is just kind of a creative way that we did it at one point to collect emails to talk about a really awesome email we sent out that we knew some people would have missed if they weren't on the email list. So you can definitely get creative with this stuff. You can have fun with it. The point is, of course, to send the emails consistently. So if you're spending this energy building a list, be sure you're communicating with your audience as well. But if you want to steal this copy, of course, do it. You just basically can swipe this and just say yourself, we're launching our new product next week and sharing it first with those on our email list. Be sure to use the link in our bio to get in on this before anyone else. So you're creating a little bit of scarcity, you're creating a little bit of urgency, and this tends to work really well for building email lists and creating action. So like I just said, it's so important if you're building a list to communicate with your list. And so what we teach in Launch Your List is taking it to the next level with nurturing new subscribers and giving you tons of different ideas on what the heck to send to your community of subscribers. So stay committed to doing this and you will absolutely reap the benefits of email marketing. So finally, staying committed means promoting your list, growing your list, emailing your list, and watching yourself reap the benefits from your list. And ultimately, this is what this little mini course is here to teach you to do. So hopefully this lesson gave you some ideas on how to get started when it comes to promoting this list, the opt-in forms you created, the lead magnets, all of the things in between. And of course, as you're committed to growing this, always reach out to us. We have hundreds of ideas to keep you on your toes, to keep this going strong for your business. And we're here to support you the whole way through. So have fun.